So Pramila Jayapal just made a fool of herself talking about how we have to trust the corporatists to deliver on Build Back Better. Take a look at this.
CBO information that they're waiting for should be here by then. And they really committed that they did not believe anything was necessarily going to change with the information that they got, but they wanted to see it. And they were willing to put in writing both the date and the fact that it would be the bill as is. So no more dithering about what the provisions are. This is the bill we have, which is, of course, what progressives always wanted. So while we didn't get the actual vote, and I wish we had, Wolf, I mean, I'll just say I wish we had, but we were in a position where we felt like we got something that was almost as good, which is their commitment. And I do think that if we're going to rebuild trust, then we have to believe that when they give a commitment publicly, when they look me in the eye and each one of them says to me, yes, we're going to vote for this, that needs to be enough for us to move forward. And again, it's a date certain. In just 10 days, we'll be able to pass it through the House, very strong vote at that point, and send it over to the Senate.
And they're already backing out of that shit. So throw up the CNN tweet. The timetable for President Biden's social spending bill, known as Build Back Better, may have just hit a new snag. CBO says social spending bill score will take longer in potential blow to Democrats. So let me explain this. They originally said, we need to wait for the CBO to give us how much this will add to the deficit before we vote for it. But we're totally giving our commitment that we're going to vote for it. We just need to wait to see what the CBO says. Okay, well, now the CBO is saying, did we say by November 15th? What I meant was, what happened was me and Craig and them was down by the Safeway and the sun was in our eyes. And then when you add the 2 and carry the 6, what we figured out is that we can't really get it done by that date. So new phone, who dis? So the CBO is saying we can't get it done by then, which then opens the door for what? The corporatists to be like, we said November 15th, assuming that the CBO was ready by then. And then what's going to happen? So they're going to delay that. And by the way, even if they don't delay that, which, again, they're already saying we're going to have to delay that, guess what? They're still going to be like, see, we were saying we're going to wait for the CBO score, and obviously what we meant was, assuming this thing doesn't add to the deficit, then we would vote for it. And the CBO, of course, is going to say it adds to the deficit. Now, why? Why would the CBO say it adds to the deficit? Because what were the ways that you could pay for the bill? You could either raise top marginal income tax rates, raise corporate taxes, or raise billionaire taxes. Every single one of them was slapped down by the corporatists. So the corporatists say, we have to pay for the bill in order for us to vote for it. And then they turn around and say, not like that. Not like that, not like that, not like that. None of the good ways to pay for the bill are ways that we're in favor of paying for the bill. So then you're just not in favor of the bill. They're against it, and they're refusing to be honest and forthright and say, we're against this. They won't do it. They won't do it. So that's where we are right now. Now, Joe Manchin, again, he just came out, and what did he say? We look at the new inflation numbers. I gave you my word, but the inflation numbers are so bad that now I think we have to reevaluate this whole thing. So in other words, the second that progressives delinked the Build Back Better bill and what they call the BIF bill, the traditional infrastructure bill, it was now the bill's either dead skis, not going to pass, going nowhere, or it's going to be watered down even more, and then the progressives will have to take whatever crumbs were thrown at them, because that's what they're going to do, because that's what they always do. And then you have Pramila Jayapal, we need to trust them. We need to rebuild. Nobody gives a fuck about trust. You think the person who desperately needs childcare gives a fuck about whether or not you trust Representative Schmungog from Arkansas? Nobody gives a fuck about your trust or how you feel or unity or our institutions. And we got their word. Their word means nothing. You want to know how they give you a commitment as to whether or not they support a bill? They vote for the fucking bill. That's what they do. I support this bill. Okay, then vote for it. I can't do that, but I'll give you my word that if/when the CBO says the thing, and then the inflation can't be too much either, and it can't add to the deficit too much, and then all these things, and then maybe, but you have my word, I'll vote for it. And I love how she said, and they have no more changes. No more changes. You think they're going to delay this thing and then not make changes? They're going to do that. They're going to use the CBO number to make the changes. They're going to talk about inflation and use that to make changes. And you're going to take whatever scraps they throw at you because you're pathetic. because you fucked up from the beginning and delinked the bills. How many times have I told you guys? They actually had Biden exactly where they wanted him. Because what happened? Okay, they kept whittling down the bill. The left wanted 10 trillion, Bernie wanted 6 trillion, it gets whittled down. Okay, we finally got a compromise 3.5 trillion. Then it goes through the reconciliation process where you reconcile it more. So, okay, it gets less. I told you my hard line was 2 trillion. Well, they went under that 2 trillion. Well, then guess what? There was only one move from there, and it's very simple. You need to publicly get Manchin and Sinema on board before you move anything. You need to publicly get the House corporatists on board before you do anything. And on top of that, you're the one who's supposed to be drawing the hard line and saying, I'm only going to vote for this watered-down piece of trash if and when Joe Biden legalizes marijuana by changing it from Schedule 1 to Schedule 5, frees every single nonviolent drug offender, eliminates all student loan debt through executive order, which we know he has the ability to do, pardons Julian Assange, pardons Stephen Donziger, pardons Daniel Hale. You can make a list. Here are our demands. If you don't want to do these, cool, Joe. No doubt, son, but we're not voting for your agenda. So, and under this scenario, if they did what they were supposed to do, they wouldn't get the traditional infrastructure bill or the Build Back Better bill. And you'd be the one who gets the seat at the table and is in the driver's seat because you're the one who's drawing the red lines. But progressives don't know how to do that. They never knew how to do that. Credit to the 6 who voted against it. They're the only ones who stuck by the original deal. But the rest of them, I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. Pramila Jayapal, Ro Khanna, all the others. But I don't know how Jamal Bowman voted. He may have been part of the 6. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. But everybody who voted in favor of the traditional infrastructure bill with the vague commitment, you've been had. You've been took. You got bamboozled. You were bamboozled yet again. So pathetic. And then when you see this red wave coming in the next election, oh my God, how could this have happened? Maybe it happened because you had a bill that had all these wonderful things in it. You slowly stripped it out one by one, torturing people in the process, and then you couldn't even get that shit through. Maybe because you're colossally ineffective at governing and messaging, maybe that's why there's a red wave coming. So you got these idiots who are arguing with Big Bird on Twitter, and they're going to beat your punk ass. How sad is that? So that's where we are. What a joke from Pramila Jayapal. I mean, these are the most naive people on the planet. So, look, at this point, it doesn't even really matter. Like, does it matter? Okay, I take that back. It matters a little bit if you have somebody who's ideologically correct in Congress. But honestly, an equally important part, and this is missing from almost all of them, is do you know how to strategize and fight? And none of them know how to strategize. None of them know how to strategize and fight. None of them. And I mean, it couldn't have been proven more clearly than what just went down here.